do this, I record this, and then I edit, and then I upload. So going live, I'm like, okay, do I really want to do my makeup live? This is just like a little test right here. So don't hold me to it. Mondays might not be live. I think everybody's at work who even watches. So I still might be talking to myself, which is totally fine. So, anyway, so I started Makeup Monday because I have such a love for beauty products, and I have all kinds of cool things that I can't wait to show you. Um, and then of course it's time for like to just like gab like girlfriends and you know hang out, get to know one another, and catch up with how the week has gone. So right now I'm just using my favorite foundation. It's either the Catrice or the Born This Way by Too Faced that I always love using. So these are my two foundations that I always go for. Like I said, I do love NARS, but the one that I have is a little dark. I could actually use that as a bronzer right now. But so yeah, this is just kind of like a let's sit and gab kind of session, you know? And I had a I don't want to say it was a hard week. It was just kind of like a roller coaster week, you know? Some really devastating things happened, and then some really great things happened. But today I'm like, oh my God, it's Monday, my favorite day of the week. I'm so excited to get started with this week. I have so much stuff planned. What's happening is because I feel like I'm always saying like, I have so much stuff planned. I really do. So what's happening is I started my brand maybe like 3 years ago, I think. And I live in a small community, and I think this is where I get a lot of like a lot of things have happened for me because I live in a small town. And of course, I put a lot of effort into what I'm doing. But I've had a lot of opportunities come my way just on a small scale, but on a big scale here in my community where I've been able to do so many things. Like tomorrow, I get to be one of the judges for the fair goodies, you know, like the homemade stuff, the arts, the flowers, everything. I'm so excited that I was asked to be one of the judges for the fair. So I'm super excited. So I have that tomorrow, even though I was going to do the farmer's market for the first time. I was supposed to do it a long time ago. Wires got crossed, and I didn't end up doing it. And so I was like, I'll do it Tuesday. However, because I forgot that I had committed to this fair thing, which I'm definitely going to do because you only get to do that once a year. The farmer's market is still happening every month or every week. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to totally do this. And then I had a realtor walk into my shop and was like, hey, I love all of this handcrafted stuff that you're doing. Would you mind making me baskets to hand out to customers, you know, like when they buy their home? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I'm ordering 4. Can I have them by the end of this week? And I'm like, yes. And so I'm like, oh my God. And then I started doing candle sip and pours at my house. I was supposed to do one yesterday. Unfortunately, most of the people had to back out, so I just ended up canceling it because I really want it to be an experience where a bunch of people come together. And so I ended up canceling it. I went to the town next to me, to Ukiah. Got a bunch of cool stuff from the Dollar Tree. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And so I have my private event this Wednesday, which is my very first one. I'm super excited. I just hope they don't cancel. But like so many things are happening so fast, and I feel like I'm still trying to catch up. And I have right now 2 stores. I'm closing one of them. Well, it's in a vendor mall, so I'm not closing anything. I'm just moving. I'm no longer going to have 2 locations. I'm only going to have 1. So this is the week that I have to move in between working, move all of my stuff out of that shop. So it's been a week. It's going to be a week. Last week was when I found all of this stuff out, and then other things happened so I want to let you guys know. if you use a sponge, a beauty blender, it has to be wet. That way you guys don't just see me like, you know, doing this to my face and going, okay, what's she doing? Always wet your beauty blender because it helps the foundation really sit nicely onto your skin. It makes it blend really well. If you don't wet this with just water, your beauty blender is going to soak up all of your foundation and you're going to be wasting so much product. And this is where it's going to be. It's going to be in here, not on your face. So, that's why I always get this super wet and then I squeeze it out. But anyway, so yes. So yeah, I've got a ton of stuff to do today. I'm working at the furniture store. My boss, the person that owns all of the vendor malls, she has now included a furniture store, and now I'm just gonna contour my face with my favorite infallible dark tone stick. And so she has a furniture store, so now I kind of bounce back and forth between both of the stores just so I have the experience. It's been an experience, let me just say that. I absolutely love the way that she's a single woman who is just like, wow, like she has so many business things that she has going on, and it is possible. I believe that she is burning the candle at both ends, but who am I to say that? I just admire all that she does, and I hope someday I will be that person. But yeah, so today I work at the furniture store, and I'm super excited because it means that I get to do a bunch of computer work. And if you're a member of the channel and you saw the contest thing that I'm doing and you're like, okay, when's she gonna announce it? Today. So I didn't want to put a deadline on it. I just wanted to like see who was gonna comment. And so y'all members, there's a post. I'm gonna do it at 3 p.m. today. I'm gonna announce the winner for the members. So the members of my channel, there's a contest going on, and you can there's a comment that you have to write, and I know who the members are. So even if you guys, I don't know how you guys will see it, but if you start to see it and catch on and you're like, oh, I want to comment, it's just for the members, and they win a box of Dollar Tree goodies that I've been collecting. And some of this, you've seen a lot of the stuff in the hauls. So, so yes, that announcement's going to be at 3 p.m. And then I'm going to send you a box of all kinds of goodies. It's going to be a little mix of fall and Halloween, because I've come across so many cool Halloween things that I'm like, okay, I need to share this with you guys. So now I'm just going to put a bunch of powder under my eyes because I'm about to do my eyeshadow. This is just like my baking powder, not baking powder. It's Airspun by Cody. I love this formula. It's one of my all-time favorite powders. I just use it for baking, which means like I'm just like layering it on, and then the heat for my skin will combine with it and then really set my foundation and set anything that you put on top, anything that you put the powder on top of will bake into it. But I hate fallout, and so when I'm doing my eyeshadow, which I have, oh, I was going to use the Catrice palette. So I'm going to use my Catrice palette. I'm going to do all the browns today. Look at all the stuff on my desk. So I'm going to do a bunch of browns today. I saw a tutorial on the Glamour Instagram account, and I was like, okay, we're totally doing that. And I can't find my primer. So anyway, so yes, I'm doing the giveaway today. Super excited. And I'm going to be doing a Halloween. I'm going to do a Halloween fall haul, because I don't like, a lot of the Dollar Trees have already come out with a bunch of Halloween stuff, and it's already gone in a lot of the stores that I've been to. They're like, yeah, it's sold out, because they put it out like weeks ago. And that's actually what I found this weekend. If you have not been to Michael's, all of their summer stuff is like 70% off. And I got a bunch of ribbon. So I'm going to do like a 4 layer eyeshadow today because I just really want to do a bunch of browns. And so I'm just going above my brow bone with this really light, it's like really light color right here. It's called Clapback if you have this palette. This has become my new palette that I really love. So I'm just kind of like, you know, going back and forth like a rainbow over my brow bone right now. And then with the same brush, I'm going to go into RBF and then make sure you just tap it out. It's going to be this one. And then now I'm going to go on my brow bone. So now just going to, and still windshield wiper kind of motion. Make sure you tap it out, that way you don't get a ton of fallout on your eyes. So I just kind of like go in a circular motion, but like back and forth, and then just like build up the color. But yeah, so anyways, I went to Michael's. There was a bunch of sales. Oh my gosh. They were selling wooden round beads, like the ones that you can make like those really cute bead strings. I can't think of the name of it right now. For like £1 for the bag, because they had multi I will do a tutorial tonight on it. They were doing them for $6 and I was like, oh my god, so I bought a bunch. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my brush, and I'm gonna go with a brush like this, a flat one, and I'm just gonna spray it down with this this lavender spray. I love this one. And just gonna get the brush wet because I'm gonna take a metallic color, and I always feel like it works best when you just wet it down a little bit. So I'm gonna go in with this like peachy kind of golden color. And then I'm just gonna start in the corner of my eyes and then just build this way across my eyelash or my eyelid. And you just kind of pat it down a little bit. And then, I love this color. And then just go across. And then I'm going to do it. I'm only going to go like maybe 3/4 of the way. And then I'm going to put a dark color on the outer edge. I could do makeup all day long. Like put it on, wash my face, put it back on. Because it really is another form of creativity. And I'm super obsessed. I've been obsessed. And I've not been able to afford like fancy makeup, like going to Ulta or to Sephora for a very long time. I've only been able to afford like a eyeshadow palette. Now here's the dark color. A mascara. Now I can buy a couple. I still can't, you know, really go all out. Every once in a while, I will splurge and get an expensive piece from Sephora and just pray that it's like my favorite. But I've really enjoyed, like, over the years, just like learning how to do makeup and, you know, have fun with it. And then who cares what anybody else thinks if, you know, they're like, oh, you have too much makeup or you don't have enough or whatever. I don't even care anymore. I just do it for me. Okay, so I just went on to the outer corner and put like this really dark one, by Felicia. I love that saying. I hardly ever say it. In fact, I don't think I ever say bye Felicia. But I just, something that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. It was before the Karen. I think the whole Karen thing like totally ruined bye Felicia because it's so overused. And make sure that when you are putting eyeshadow on it, you've got to blend. I know. Like, some people just want to throw it on and go. You have to blend. Blend, 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 blend. Okay. There we go. I'm happy with it. And that's how you do 4 colors really fast. Now I'm going to take out this powder that I have under my eye, and this will, like, when you do that powder under your eye, like, do it really thick, like ridiculously thick. I know it seems like a waste, and I know it seems like you don't need to do that, but when you have eyeshadow that has a lot of fallout, meaning that it just sprinkles underneath your eyes, when you have that powder and you're able to just brush it away without it having to ruin your foundation, it's so much nicer. So now I have my Anastasia brow powder, and we are just gonna try to do my brows really fast. And this is the one thing that I absolutely hate about makeup, is doing my brows. But I grew up in the time where you can basically tweeze all of your brows off, and now you're like, well, why aren't they growing back? Although I don't have it sitting here, I do have a serum that I bought on Amazon. I swear it works. Little bits of my hair in my eyebrows and on my eyelashes. My eyelashes have gotten longer from this serum, and I don't use it faithfully, which I should, but it works. Oh my God. I love this serum. And when I use it faithfully, like, you know, make sure that it's really included in every night in my routine, I definitely see a difference. And it was on Amazon. It's like $30. Had a ton of reviews. Of course, I always make sure I read the reviews. My friend was actually using this eyelash serum before I even ordered it. She was using it for a while, so I totally trusted her. And yes. Oh, here it is. Let me grab it. Okay, so this is the eyelash serum that you can grab on Amazon that will work. It is it's called eyelash serum. It's by Essie. So this is what it looks like. I absolutely love this, and it has like, so this is what it looks like. And then you just put it on your lash line, and then I rub it through my my eyebrows, and I have seen a difference. So yeah, it does work. And always make sure that you read the reviews when you're purchasing something like that, to check the ingredients and everything. I used to work for Mary Kay. I used to be a Mary Kay consultant about a couple of years ago. I absolutely loved it, learned so much. And what I learned that was like life-changing is that the FDA does not really control what is put into makeup. So you, makeup companies, well, the beauty industry, pretty much anything can be put into, to a limit. I mean, you know, to an extent, but anything can be put in beauty products, you know. And if you're one of those people that are buying like eyeshadows at the flea market, guilty. You could be actually putting on like colored Comet cleanser onto your eyelid. So never do that. I've learned that you cannot do that. I've watched so many undercover things where they've, you know, tested that kind of stuff, and they're like, did you realize that you were putting on, you know, this product? And you're just like, what? And they're like, it's laundry detergent that you're putting onto your eyelids. And you're like, oh my God. From the stuff that you can end up finding at the flea market. So if it seems too good to be true for the palette and whatnot, it probably is. And I say that because a lot of like the eyeshadow palettes that I absolutely love, you know, they're like $50, $60. And when you see them at the flea market and you're like, 15, what? Like, you're like, I'm going to scoop that up. Don't do it. As tempting as that may be, don't do it. Okay, I think my eyelashes, or my eyebrows match. And I'm going to go ahead and line the bottom. I use eyeshadow to line the bottom, my waterline. And then I smudge it out with my fingers after I get the eyeshadow on here. But yeah, so anyway, so I went to Ukiah yesterday. I got a bunch of stuff from the Dollar Tree. Their fall stuff was almost gone at one of them. And it was like super full yesterday. Walmart, I don't know what's happening. We went into Walmart. There was nothing. And usually by now they would have something, but it's all back to school still. So, okay, so I'm just kind of like blowing this out. All right, there we go. We're going to do the mascara. And do you guys listen to podcasts? I'm super curious to see. I feel like I'm the only one that's so into podcast. But I love this one podcast. If you're somebody who's like looking for a podcast to just kind of perk them up, to just kind of like wake up their soul and, you know, light their fire, and it have nothing to do with business. Like it's just like a happy story every morning. There's this podcast by Gretchen Rubin, who she does like the Happy Project. She's all about like trying to figure out how to be happy. And it's not one of those books where it's like, or audiobooks or her podcast where I guess it's like real life kind of like how to be happy. Like she gives you like real tools, real ways to think. And I was just briefly listening to her this morning. She did like a 3-minute podcast, and she was talking about how sometimes in life there's like this one staple thing that makes you happy. And it could be something like, she was talking about how every now and then when she goes home, she always uses like this big brown bowl whenever she's cooking or whatever. She goes to her parents' house and she's like, she just gravitates towards that bowl. And she asked them one time, she's like, how long have you had this bowl? And they were like, I don't know, we bought it at this one thing, you know, in 1970 something. And they're like, she's like, what? She's like, you've had this bowl for 40 years? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. And she's like, I don't know what it is about this bowl. She's like, but when I see this bowl, I get happy. Like it brings back memories. And she's like, and who would have thought back then, like in the 1970s, that they knew that this bowl was going to be a staple part of their home, that it would have lasted. And it still exists. And so she's like, who would have thought that this single bowl would last this long in the family and bring people so much joy? She's like, it's a bowl. And she's like, how many people have that? And she was, you know, rhetorically asking, like, how many people have this thing in their life that is just your ordinary random object and it brings you so much joy? And I'm like, you know what? I have my grandma's ashtrays. And when I see them, she's gone now. And when I see these ashtrays, I don't know what it is. Like, it just instantly, like it's grandma. Like, you know, and it's nothing, you know, out of, like, nothing special or anything like that. But I'm like, you know what? These bowls are just like it. I just love these ashtrays. And I thought that was so cool that she just mentioned that, because I'm like, you know what? It was a 3-minute podcast, very quick, but listening to something like that this morning, I was like, because then I started thinking about something that made me happy, and then it brought up really happy memories with my grandmother. And I'm like, what a way to start out a Monday morning. Like, just like, man, something so small and insignificant can bring you so much joy. And I'm sure I'll think about my grandma for the rest of the day, think about that podcast, and maybe think of something else. Maybe something that I bought, you know, maybe something else that when I go to someone's house, you know, like it's like my favorite chair that I always sit in or something. But I love being able to listen to a podcast that like is not business related, that is not anything that you're just like, okay, I need to grab my notebook and sit down and take notes. It's just like, hey, let me just remind you that there are still things in this world to be happy about. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be anything, but just something that is just existing that just brings you pure joy. And so I'm like, I love that podcast. So if you're looking for something to just like just, you know. The quote of the day by Sean Croxton. They're never more than 12 minutes, and it's a collection that he finds from all these other different podcasts, and he finds like one of the most powerful moments in their podcast, and he brings it to you. And I'm like, if I am really just like in this funk and I'm trying to like dig my way out, I'm like, Sean Croxton, like, let me listen to one of your podcasts. Put it on, and it's always somebody that's super inspiring. And it just like, I'm like, yes, when I'm done, I'm like, yes, I can do it. I got it. Like, I feel like I can, take on the world. And then when I'm like, I just want somebody to like kind of give me like a hug from afar, I'm like, I'm going to listen to some Gretchen Rubin. It's called Happier with Gretchen Rubin. It's her and her sister, and they just talk about happy stuff. And it's happy stuff that's happening in their life or happy stuff that's happening in someone else's life, but it's just happy stuff. And you're just like, thank you. Thank you for putting happiness into the world. If you don't want to listen to it, I don't know what day it comes out, but if you're like, you know what, I'm going to save this for a Monday morning when I know that I'm going to need my virtual hug, do it. Don't, I love, just FYI, Rihanna came out with the Fenty line. If you're not into makeup or you don't know who Rihanna is a superstar, movie or singer, and she came out with this line, this beauty line called Fenty. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. That's where I will spend my money. I absolutely love her line. Everything that I've ever gotten from her is incredible, and I say her product line is incredible. I love all of it. It's totally worth the money. This is about $32. It's a lip paint. I have the red one, and let me tell you, if y'all ladies are looking for a red that's a universal red, that it looks good on everybody, there's a red one. That it was her very first one that she ever came out with. It's the Stunna paint. It goes on, it dries matte, and then I always like to throw a gloss over it because I'm not, I like matte, but I'm not a big fan of it. And this is not one of those mattes that like feels like you have like dried powdered donuts on your lips. Like this is like a somewhat of a hydrating matte. Again, I understand it's $32. It's a little tiny thing. This does go a long way. She's included several different colors now. I think there's like 8. I love this. You could put this paint on, this Stunna paint, this lip paint on in the morning, and by evening it is still on. That's why I think it's totally worth the $32, because you're not having to reapply it over and over and over and over again. But like I said, if you are looking for a red, I keep looking at it over there. If you're looking for a red that looks good on you, will look good on your friend, it has like the perfect undertones for any skin color, and it just makes your lip pop. Every time I wear that red, I get so many compliments, and I have several different red lipsticks. But when I wear that red lipstick, people are like, what is that? Like, what color is that? I'm like, oh, it's Riri. And so, again, if you're looking for a red lipstick, there is one. Okay, I'm just going to grab it because I'm just sitting here staring at it. Here it is. Here it is. This is the Stunna paint. This is the red one. And let's watch it. It's the one, I absolutely love it. It's like that vibrant, God, look at the color on that. Look at that red. And I bet the light is like not even doing it justice, right? But I mean, that's how your lips look. So what you see is what you get. Like you will have fire engine red lips with the perfect undertone. And see, it does like it doesn't come off, so I'm gonna have to use makeup remover. But I absolutely love, love, love Riri's line. And the Stunna paints is one of them. This is my mauve color. What is this color? Uncuffed. That's what it is. And the brush doesn't, you don't have to have a lip liner. So it is awesome. Yeah. And then once this dries, it, like I said, it dries matte, so you won't have to worry about it smudging or anything like that. It is so pretty. And I don't want to talk while I do this because I don't want it to get in places where it doesn't need to be. All right. You can hear my dog snoring. Oh, you can't see her, but the carpet's black up here. And she's laying on it. This is... Okay, there. Got it on. All right, so I do that. Now we're going to do lashes. I was able to put on lashes successfully on camera, which I don't actually like to do. But I will do it again. So, because I'm always like, am I making like the weird faces and all of that other jazz? These are going to be like super, super wispy. They are just kind of like to fill in my lashes, and then I'm just going to cut the edges a little bit. They're very like, they're very small. Like they're not, I just like to have like the little bit of the wispiness. Some days I'm like, I want my lashes to hit my cheeks when I blink. And today I'm like, let's just go small but full. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the glue on here. But anyways, I hope you guys like, you know, with, I say this time and time again, with everything happening in the world today, we kind of need to find an outlet where we can truly just find happiness, even if it's for a moment. And podcast is where I've really just like fell into it, and I'm like, okay, so there's this whole world that's completely free. And so I'm like, I like free, but there's this whole world that's completely free where you can totally find your person when it comes to a podcast. I mean, I love watching YouTube. I absolutely love watching YouTube. But podcast is where you can like really get in depth. I mean, it's like listening to a book, you know, and I love the fact that you can just create this library, and it could be, you know, one of them is like all about business. So when you're ready to listen to a business podcast, you have that right there at your fingertips. And then the next one, you're like, you know what? I just want to be told a story, like a really happy story. It doesn't have to be about anything. It just has to have a really good ending. And so you can create that. And then, you know, like I have the quote of the day where I'm like, I just need somebody to light my fire. Get me going, you know, the Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. I love that book. You know, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off. And that's what I get when I listen to Sean Croxton. And then when I'm like, okay, I really want to learn, I have, you know, like, John C. Maxwell, who's kind of like a professor in a way. I mean, he's so good, but to me, he's like professor style. So get into the world of podcast. And I know a lot of people, I think it's still new for a lot of people that you can get into podcast, like just to listen, but like download the app on your phone. There's Spotify. If you have an Apple phone, there's an app that automatically exists on your phone. But it's really a good way because some of us don't have community. And like when I say community, we don't have like people that are close to us that can offer us some of the things that we're looking for. Like they can't relate to some of the things that we're going through, or, you know, we can't trust them. And I didn't have that in my community for a very long time. And you can create your own community through podcast, you know. And I do want to say, like, there's been so many times where I've like, you know, shared in Instagram stories about a podcast that I listened to. And lo and behold, I'll tag like the person that did the podcast and they will respond. I'm like, what? I get so excited when that happens. But yes, I mean, you can build your own community with podcast, and of course on YouTube, you know, I hope to be a part of your community and this someone that you can totally relate to. And that is why I'm doing so many different types of tutorials, because I don't want people to just see me as someone who makes a wreath or someone who just makes candles or, you know, does makeup. I'm like, I want to be someone that somebody can relate to, because I know the power of friendship. I know the power of community. I know the power of finding somebody that you can relate to. I know that power because I didn't grow up with a whole bunch of people that I could rely on or look up to or any of those things. Like I had, I had a rough child. Let me just put it that way. I had a rough childhood. So what I had to do was, you know, find people, find community. And if that meant going on social media and finding it that way, then so be it. And, you know, I'm not mad that, you know, I can't call this person up and, you know, tell them my problems, because I'm like, you know what, they offer me so much with what they provide in like in a podcast or like I said, a YouTube tutorial or whatever it is, that I'm like, okay, my heart and soul is filled. And now I feel like I can breathe. I feel comforted, whatever it is that I'm searching for in that moment. And again, with my channel, you know, I try to be very good about answering comments, especially like having you guys follow my social media accounts, because I'm always on there. And then you get to see a whole different side of me. Not a whole different side of me. You can see other sides of me on like my Instagram, my Facebook, and we can truly like be in a community, even if you're like in a different country. I just think that we are all searching for that so much, especially right now, because I think it's really good to have people who can be there for you no matter what their views are, but like just kind of like be there for you in whatever way you need them to be. So check out podcasts, continue to follow my channel, and of course always leave comments. Always leave comments, because that's like, it's one thing to like just watch or whatever, but when you're leaving comments, we're building like a relationship, because there are so many times where like I see the same name over and over, and I almost, based on what you're writing, I'm like, I feel like I know this person. Like, so when I see you on a live chat, I'm like, oh my God, there's so and so. Like, you know, I I create this friendship in my mind, and I hope that you guys do too, where I'm like, oh, you know, so and so. But yeah, so Makeup Mondays is my new thing. I like to share makeup products. So if you guys are like, hey, what other makeup products do you guys want to talk about? Let me know, because sometimes I can do the same look over and over for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, now what? But yeah, I'm really totally into this. And again, I know it's a Monday morning. Most people are like, Monday, I just need to get focused and do my own thing. And I'm not about to jump on this girl's live to watch her put on some eyelashes. And that's totally okay, because this is available for replay. And so I'm not hating. I was just like, let's see what happens if I go live today. Because like I said, normally I edit this. But yeah, we will continue with Makeup Monday for quite some time. So I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, because this is just another side of me. But anyways, I hope you guys all had a fabulous weekend. My face is set. I just got to throw on my Morphe setting spray before I hit the door. It has been super smoky where I live, and so I ordered some lip paint. Which one did you get? I wonder. Ugh, I love the lip paint. See, so now I have the lip paint on. Yeah, it's, oh my God, it's still a little tacky. But for the most part, it's like, okay, so it doesn't, I'm trying to see, okay, that's what it's going to do. That's what it's going to do, a light one. But I'm about to pop on some gloss with it, and I love it. Anything Fenty is, I want to do something. Let's do some shine. Anything Fenty is, I know it's expensive. Oh, and let me just say, I've had this for a while now. I've had this for a while. It still performs great. Um, like I said, I love it. And so worth it. My friends have borrowed it. And I know before I even say that, like pre-COVID, my friends would borrow this lipstick because they were like, what is that red? And I'm like, come on over to my house. So yeah, so now I've got like these tiny little wispy eyelashes. I never want to get, ooh, yes. Oh, you got all of them. Nice. But here's what I like to do. So I put on like these little wispy false lashes, and then I blend my own eyelashes into them. And like I said, putting on false eyelashes is something that you're just going to have to learn how to do over time. Make sure that you never, ever, when you put glue on false eyelashes, make sure that you wait, 15, even 30 seconds, because then when you go to lay it on your your eyelash line, it's automatically going to stick instead of like tapping it over and over and over again onto your eyelid. And then you just have like this big smudge of glue. Always wait till the glue is somewhat tacky. And I think that's what a lot of people, when they go to put on false eyelashes, they forget to do. They just immediately put the glue on and then go right to the eye. And that's where you're going to mess up, because it will not stick. You will get a whole bunch of glue everywhere. And then people are like, oh my God, it's a nightmare to put them on. It's actually not. Just, it's, the key is make sure the glue is tacky. That's all you got to do. So yeah, I will never get my eyelashes done because, like I've said time and time again, I like to wear my eyelashes different all the time. And so I'm like, okay, like I will get the most ridiculously big eyelashes to wear like on a Friday night. I'm like, I don't care. It's Friday night. And even though I don't go anywhere and do anything, because here there's really not much to do, and I don't drink alcohol at all, and haven't for a very long time. So like there's only bars here, and every now and then I'll go to a bar because like it's like Cheers here. So like when you go in, you can find all your friends in one spot, and so it's not too shabby. And like I know the bartender, it's like one of my good friends, and so I go to the bar and hang out. But other than that, like I rarely do anything in the evenings, and it could be because I actually like to be in bed by 8:30. So I live that kind of a life. I want to put a little bit of highlighter on. This is just like a Wet n Wild highlighter. I'm like, you know what? Who cares? It's Monday. Let's light the world up with our glow. Okay. Yep. And then my Morphe setting spray, which I will not ever leave the house with. I spray this on my face maybe 2 or 3 times in a day. And this will set your makeup. So how I look right now is how I'm going to look when I get off work at 6 o'clock. And there's going to be no extra putting on more makeup or anything like that, because this actually does lock your makeup onto your skin. Granted, if you jump into a pool, if you jump into a pool, yes, you're gonna, it's gonna wreak havoc. But like my eyebrows will still be here, and even if it is 100 degrees out. But that is it. This is Makeup Monday with me live. I think I might do it again live next week. I'm going to try to go bold next week. I'm going to try to do like a bright purple eye or something like that. So anyways, thanks for joining me on here. Of course, give this video a thumbs up. I enjoyed doing it live, although I was a bit nervous because I didn't know, like if I was going to mess up, and then I was like, shit, I can't edit this. Like, oh God, I hope it all works out. But yes, like, oh, Oh, hey, Tina, you're on here. So yes, I will do this again next week. And it gives you guys a different view of me because usually when I film tutorials, it's on my day off and I try not to wear makeup on my day off only because I'm doing so much. And so I'm like, I just wake up and I hit the ground running. But when I work, I'm like, I need to be presentable. And so like now you guys can see that I actually do put effort into my appearance. So anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys again for Makeup Monday next Monday. But I have a couple of tutorials available for you very soon. I'm gonna be editing this evening. So see you guys again.